The next Gen 1 trainer class we'll be building a theme deck around is the Beauty. Beauties actually have a relatively diverse pool of Pokemon to pull from. Rattata, Vulpix, Meowth, Clefairy, Wigglytuff, Pidgeotto, Ivysaur, and then the rest are kind of in that pool of water-type Pokemon with Seaking, Staryu, Cloyster, Seadra. So this was yet another opportunity to build a pretty fun, non-competitive deck that used a few Pokemon that maybe didn't see all that much play. I know I've definitely never played against a Seadra or a Cloyster in base Fossil, so there's actually a lot of different Pokemon you can pull from depending on which ones you like best if you want to roleplay as a Beauty and represent that trainer class in the TCG. So let's get into the Pokemon that I chose to do exactly that. Base Fossil has a really good, kinda dominant water type pool to pull from. You got your Poliwrath, your Dugong, your Gyarados, all on top of Rain Dance Blastoise. One of the most underrated, in my opinion, is Seaking. Turn 2 Seaking is fantastic, not as its own deck archetype, but just in any water deck. Being able to deal 30 damage on turn 2 for 2 energy is just pretty good. It's simple, energy efficient, 70 HP, and it's got some beautiful artwork on it. So of course I wanted to include it in this deck. Full playset of Goldeen and Seaking. For the other water type, I had played around with both Seadra and Cloyster, and I ended up liking Seadra a little bit more, though neither of them was really as energy efficient as I would want the deck to be, which is why I include Seaking in here, is because it can deal a decent amount of damage for low energy, but Seadra and Cloyster really can't, and I didn't want to include just Poliwag in here. So what I ended up doing was just including a 2-2 line of Seadra, sometimes utilizing Water Gun if I have some energy to spare on top of it, and also sometimes utilizing Agility to stall and buy some time. But what I ended up liking the most was including a 3-3 line of Clefable. And I know that no in-game Beauty actually uses Clefable, even though they use Clefairy, but Clefable fits so well with that low energy curve that I was going for with this deck, with the Goldeen and the Seaking, that I just went ahead and threw it in. Unlike Seaking and Seadra, Clefable is a card that did see a lot of play because it was an instant counter to a lot of big deck archetypes for only 1 energy. But when you factor out those big archetypes, which I've done for this smaller theme deck format, Clefable gets scaled back as well because Clefable's metronome is only as good as your opponent's best attack. So when you're playing against like tier 2 and tier 3 decks, Clefable's not OP anymore, it's just versatile. And I didn't want to make an entire deck out of just Seaking, Seadra, and Cloyster. That's more of like a swimmer deck, honestly, and it didn't really represent the Beauty trainer class as well as I wanted to. But I think including that Clefable in there actually does make the deck feel like the Beauty trainer class. Alternatively, you could put Wigglytuff in here, but because, like I said, I wanted to keep it low energy, plus Wigglytuff is a little too good to try to fit into a theme deck only mini format. So we'll move on to the trainers. You got a full play set of Bill, 3 copies of Oak just for your draw power. So you can get those evolution cards pretty early and evolve straight up into Seaking or Clefable on turn 2. Start using those really good low energy attacks. If that amount of draw power isn't really doing it for you, or if you just have bad luck, computer searches in here, a couple copies of that to help you search out those evolution cards faster. Because this is such a low energy deck, you're only going to have 1 energy attached to a Clefable or 2 energy attached to a Seaking. It's a lot more viable to use your super potions and your super energy removals because it's not going to stop you from attacking the next turn to discard that energy, and it's going to put your opponent at a much higher disadvantage. I've also got 3 copies of Switch and 3 copies of Gust of Wind. These are really fun to combo together. If you can see that your opponent has a Pokemon on the bench that has a really great attack, but they haven't fully powered it up yet, you can gust that into their active position. You switch to get your Clefable out there, just lay down an energy out of nowhere and use that really good attack against them before they have a chance to assist in getting those knockouts and also prevent yourself from being knocked out. Got a full play set of Plus Power and a playset of Defender. The Defenders aren't necessary, but I found them very useful because you are attacking for a low amount of energy with this deck, but you're not dealing enough damage to really get OHKOs. You're going to take multiple turns to knock out your opponent's Pokemon, and that's if they stay in the active position. To keep attacking turn after turn, Defender is going to be huge in preventing your own Seaking or Clefable from getting knocked out. Finishing off the deck with 12 water energy, even accounting for the ones you're discarding for super potions and super energy removals, and ones that are getting discarded due to your own opponent's energy removals. 12 is still plenty when you're only going to be attacking for 1 energy most of the time anyway. With the number of Oaks and Bills in this deck, it's not going to be hard to just draw 1 single water energy on the turn that you need it. And that's going to be the Beauty Trainer Theme deck. I've already mentioned Cloyster as a Seadra replacement, or even a Clefable replacement if you do want to stick to the true Beauty in-game teams. But a stage 1 with only 50 HP is kind of rough to use, especially when both of its attacks are completely dependent on coin flips. If you're flipping tails, then you're wasting your turns by attacking with this Cloyster. On the flip side of things, if you are flipping heads, then this card's great. But like I said, it's up in the air. It's very risky to play this card. That's why I just went with Seadra, because at least with Seadra you get some guaranteed damage for your energy. I also tried a version of this deck using Ivysaur, but you know, again, the same kind of problems arose with Ivysaur, where I'm having to include a second type of basic energy card. It's only got 60 HP for a stage 1, which is the same as Seadra, but still not a lot considering that you have to have 3 energy on here to attack. If you want to go fully optimized within the parameters of a Beauty deck, then I would suggest going straight Wigglytuff and Seaking. That way you've got a good early game attacker with Seaking as you set up for Do the Waves, which can also be performed on turn 2 if you include a playset of double colorless energy in there as well. And then also include your Mysterious Fossils and Clefairy Dolls. That way you can maximize the damage done with Do the Wave. And then also throw in 2 or 3 copies of Last. That way you're protecting your Wigglytuffs against your opponent's energy removals. Just make sure that you use your own plus powers and energy removals. Get those out of your hand before you play Last. That way you're not unnecessarily losing some of your own resources. So what did you think about my Beauty Trainer class theme deck? How do you feel it compares to other trainer classes? Let me know down in the comments what your favorite trainer class is. Maybe we'll see them pop up in the coming days. As always, thanks for watching. If you want more vintage Pokemon TCG content, stay tuned to the channel. And until next video, bye.